How you
I,
doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah, I've interviewed Dallas a couple times, and talked to him about the show a few times. But from your angle as producer, you're a producer. That's the title, right?
Executive producer. Yeah.
Executive producer. Okay. What makes an executive producer different from other producers? It's a question I've always had.
Just in short, like all budgeting and management organization at the end, Buck kind of is with me. So I kind of hold the purse strings, but also I've been in charge of the marketing. That's kind of Dallas and I started
Oh,
this. He was the face and I was the marketing, kind of working together. So
when you say marketing, does that include the merchandising? Like, are you overseeing all the
merchandising,
t-shirts and
yeah,
everything?
merchandising as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay. So now, my understanding is you weren't involved with the Shepherd, and then at some point, did you see the Shepherd and approach Dallas, or did somebody on his team pitch it to you? How did you get involved in the Chosen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Dallas created a short film for his church called The Shepherd. I was well over, I don't know, has it been 5, 6 years ago? A publicist actually got a hold of it and asked Dallas if he could kind of show some friends that actually are building a studio, and showed it to the people at Angel Studio, and they were touched by it. Now, Jeffrey Harmon, one of the principals at the studio, we worked on several projects together over the course of our career. And he then showed it to me when I was at my conference, and it hit me. It struck a chord. I felt led that this is a project that I needed to work on and to be a part of it. And their whole studio model is really finding the right type of creators that can really bring light into the world, and then surrounding them with people that can actually help accomplish that. And so my background is I've spent 20 plus years working on online social media, audience development, and then getting eyeballs onto projects and then converting those eyeballs into money. And so when I discovered that, I was able to connect with Dallas, and it was like, it was meant to be. Like, it was one of those moments that we had some clarity. He had a beautiful vision of where he'd like to see the TV show. We had zero money in the bank, zero social following, but a really, really good idea and a direction of how to raise the money and also distribute it. And so that was kind of our plan that happened 4 years ago.
Okay. Now, are the actors, I haven't checked this, I probably should have, but are the actors in The Messengers the same ones who played Mary and Joseph in The Shepherd?
Yeah, so the same Mary and Joseph are the same actors in the first Shepherd, and it was beautiful to see them work again. We had Joseph actually appear in one of the episodes of The Chosen, kind of in a flashback where Jesus was was lost at the temple,
I was
and
going to ask
so
about that too. Yeah.
yeah, but it's the same actors.
Okay. So, because I find that interesting, because when the Shepherd, it's never been clear to me if the Shepherd is actually considered canon or part of the continuity.
Well,
It doesn't have an episode number.
Yeah, it doesn't have an episode number. It's episode 0. It's kind of what it's what launched everything else.
Yeah.
And the Messenger is definitely canon for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say that, as we're looking back, that was the inspirational piece, but now is canon based on how it was received and how we're trying to loop everything back to that as well. So,
because I always thought when the show got started that it was kind of perfect that the pilot, if you will, that it all began with this story about the nativity, because everything else is separated by 30 years. So you wouldn't have to cast the same actors or any of that.
right.
There was sort of a natural division there. And so it's interesting to see that you've now sort of come full circle and you've come back to that original and
Yep.
brought it back in. I was actually curious when I heard that when Dallas announced that there was going to be this new Christmas episode. I thought, well, wait a minute, they already did Christmas, and then when I saw it, because I was thinking, what are they just going to like tell the same story again?
Right.
And then I realized the way it was structured, it is structured to avoid duplication,
Yeah.
if I can put it that way.
Dallas and the writers are brilliant when it comes to telling a great story, and the character development and the character arc in that process. In the Shepherd, it was all revolving around the Shepherd, and it was his world, his life, and how he was living his interaction with the people that surrounded him. And you're able to see that journey and his struggles and trials. And then, the Messengers is all about Mary and Joseph and their journey. And what I love about it is we always focus in on the end moment, when it comes to nativity. A lot of the stories that are there is like finding, looking for that in, and they can't get in, but yet it's like finding the manger scene. But what I love about The Chosen is it's what, could be authentic.
Right.
The stable was not clean when they got there. Something had to happen. And that's what I love, is just kind of really showcasing trials and frustrations and faith that can be found in this episode, The Messengers.
Right. I noticed in the trailer for this, there was the trailer included the close-up of Joseph shoveling the poop in the stable.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
when I was watching the episode, did I hear correctly? Did Joseph say to the innkeeper at one point, "This is bull droppings"?
Exactly.
That for some people that could be pushing a bit of a limit there, don't you think? Or I don't know, having Bible talk like that?
Look, I don't know about Joseph, but I'll tell you what, when my wife, I've have 5 beautiful kids, but my wife was having our first, I was frantic. I didn't even, there was no kosher around anything, when
Right.
it came to her. And I can only imagine what Joseph was going through. I can only imagine traveling, distance to go pay taxes, but yet, knowing that the baby could come at any time and making sure that things would be pristine. And yet here he was offered pretty much the lowliest of the low, a place where it wasn't fit for a king, but it was fit for the king, which I find very poetic. And so don't know how he felt. I just know how I felt. And I would have literally been in the same position. I probably wouldn't have been, I probably would have been a little bit more direct than he was in the episode.
Okay. Now that you actually had a Christmas special last year, right? Which basically
We did.
went straight to YouTube and I guess maybe Facebook or the app, but I saw it on YouTube last year. And did you know at the time, were you thinking this is going to be like an annual tradition now, or?
Yeah, I love the question. I think that Christmas is in our DNA because it launched The Chosen. There's something special that happened around the shepherd and around this time of year. This time of year also helped us get funded fully to actually produce the first season of The Chosen. And so this time of year is really, really important to us. And last year we held the Christmas special. It was very apparent, having over 1 million people concurrently watch the live stream together around the world was a very big deal. And for us, it gave us the opportunity to say, okay, now that we've proven that, how do we distribute it differently? How do we get it in front of more people? And it wasn't until season 3 was being delayed because of COVID and supply chains and other stuff that we had the idea of, what if we did another special episode? What if it was telling Joseph and Mary's journey? And what if it was, adding these artists that now want to work with us that didn't have the opportunity this last go around? And it became something beautiful. And what I love, and Peter, this is what I love about the project, is once we started to pull the trigger and move in this direction, that's when everything else was taken care of. It was like we were meant to do this. And I do believe, Christmas is special for us. And I wouldn't be surprised if we try to figure out something every year or every other year to memorize or memorialize the special season, and also connect with our audience in a unique way.
Right. Well, and it's an interesting contrast too, in that a year ago, like movie theaters were shut down and
Yep.
a lot of things were shut down. And a lot of us churches were shut down, certainly where I live. And, there was this feeling of sort of being huddled and isolated. And it was interesting to have that special to be able to watch on the YouTube. And now a year later, it's almost the complete opposite of that, because now you're actually putting this in theaters now. And that's been done before with other shows. I mean, I don't, this is the first thing I thought of when I heard that you were doing this Christmas special in theaters was Doctor Who. Because Doctor
Right.
Who has, Well, they
I'm a
have
big Doctor Who fan, so yes,
Oh,
you
are you
know me
really?
right.
Okay.
Oh yes, very much so.
Okay, because they have Christmas episodes, and
Absolutely.
those often get theatrical screenings as well. So suddenly I thought, oh my goodness, is this going to be like an ongoing thing now, like a Christmas thing every year, maybe in theaters?
Well, I don't know about theaters. I do believe that for our ultimate goal for The Chosen is to have The Chosen be in front of a billion people, you know, to showcase an authentic Jesus. And we got to look at things differently. This might work right now for the theaters, but maybe next year it's on mainstream TV. You never know. It all depends on the direction that we need to get in front of more eyeballs. And I think for us, there's a lot of energy and time. We don't want to deviate from our main job, which is the TV show. But with the requests of so many different talented artists and just the time of year, you know, it might happen even more frequent, you know, in different ways. Who knows? I think the essence of the show for us is more focusing in on the show first. And we do have a division within our company structure that can work on some special projects that it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth of the team that's putting on the show itself.
Right. Now there are one or two characters who are introduced in this new special, but just so you know, I'm much more into the Bible movie side of things than the music side of things. That's why I haven't asked many questions about that.
Me too.
Okay. Although I will ask, just out of curiosity, does Dallas direct the music video type stuff as well, or did he just do the episode?
Yeah, he did the episode. They had different directors that did the different music videos.
Okay. Okay. So you've got at least one significant new character. I won't say who in the Christmas episode. And so, like when you cast that role, I think you know who I'm thinking of, probably.
Yeah, very much so.
When you cast that role, like was it with an eye towards like we will need you back for season 3 or 4 or 5? I don't even know which season it will be.
Yeah, great question. So the Messengers is chosen canon. You will have characters that played specific people in the last 2 seasons. And then we're introducing a couple characters, not just one, but a couple characters that will be introduced in season 3. And so those are the whole dynamic is leading to that. So when they were cast, they know that they're gonna have the life of the project. You know, and that's something that we negotiated in their contract.
It's interesting you say a couple characters, because there's only one that I can think of who actually appears in the Gospels. I mean, Luke is obviously there because he's in the trailer. I can say that without spoiling anything. But we tend to think of Luke as a Book of Acts kind of character, not a Gospel character. Is there a chance? Is there a chance he would appear in the?
Like Luke came a lot later than the Gospels itself. But all I'm saying is there's other characters that are there. Now you might not know the stories or how it intertwines, but guess what? That's what season 3's for.
Right.
So,
okay. Now, sorry. So people coming out of the movie now, I'm just trying to imagine, because I've never been to a movie screening like this before. I've going to a theater to see Christmas songs and so forth. So what do you envision the experience being like for the people there in the theater? I mean, like, do you envision sing-alongs or do you, what do you want people to come away from the experience talking about?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're looking for is just going in and surrounding yourself by people that love great content, you know, and, you know, whether they're believers or not, it doesn't really matter, but just coming in to the theater in a time of year where it's so focused in on the holidays and the hustle and the bustle and Christmas and, you know, the things that are there. But I would love them to see is the main reason why we celebrate Jesus's birth. How we celebrate Christmas. I think that is the reason why we're all there. And we'll be able to worship him through monologues, through music, and also the episode. And for me to see people to just be able to feel the importance of the season. And if it just causes them to be a little bit more reminiscent of the things that are truly important, that would be a win for us.
Okay. Do you foresee doing theatrical screenings for just regular episodes, like a season premiere kind of a thing? Because I know some shows have done that too.
Yeah. I think the thing for us is we've had a lot of great ideas. This is an idea that we had back for season one. We were actually going to do a special event, and it just never really panned out. It just didn't feel right. The timing wasn't there. Then again for season two, and then the pandemic hit. Wasn't really there. I wouldn't say that we're going to do it or not. We're open to anything. I think it's just more, is it the right time? Is it the right venue to do some of these things? And I think time will tell based on the results that we're able to see. And I think it's just, is the energy and effort worth the end goal for that? And will it further our distribution in different ways, getting people talking about it in different ways? So I think we'll do a lot of learning here, and we'll be able to readjust and to focus, seeing if it's worth it to do it again in a special way or with episodes. Don't know yet.
Okay. I have to ask, before I forget, also, like, you've done 2 Christmas episodes now, basically done it from the shepherd's perspective, Joseph and Mary's perspective. And to me, it seems like a no-brainer that if you did it again, you'd have to do one from the Magi's perspective, because we haven't seen them yet. Has there been any talk about that?
Well, no talks about that, but we do have to wait a few years after Jesus is a little bit older. But yes, 100%. I do believe that we're open to anything. It's just more about where we're putting our resources and time. Our main focus is to focus in on the TV show, do 7 seasons around the Gospels. And so that's our main focus, but who knows, we might be inspired to do something else along the way. That would be an additional special.
Okay. All right. Okay. And Dallas is periodically in his live streams, Dallas talks about how, like, if you give me $100 million or whatever to do the show, I do see the show popping up increasingly frequently in media reports, like mainstream media. There's more and more. There are more and more articles about it in various outlets. I keep seeing the show pop up on various different streaming services. Like, you have your app, but right. There's like Christian cinema on the Christian side of things, but even mainstream things like Canopy with a K. Yep. I saw season 1 pop up on there. And so it seems like it's getting an increasingly high profile, and it's better and better known, and there's more and more attention being paid to it. And at some point, I have to wonder how many of the people who are paying all this increased attention to it might be people who have the money to actually finance future seasons on a more secure footing. Like, yep. Is it crowdfunding all the way from here on, or do you envision anything, like a more conventional or secure, quote unquote, funding basis for the show?
That's a great question, and let me kind of address it like head on in kind of strategies and tactics. Our big thing is season 1 should be everywhere. Because once they get through season 1, they're going to watch season 2. Season 2 should be in limited locations. Season 3 and 4 and whatever should be within the app itself. Now, is that our decision? Can we change? We might even change tomorrow. It all just depends on the data that we're able to see and understanding our KPIs of where we're actually going with that. I can tell you this. We have amazing partners when it comes to this. We wanted to make the show free, and they agreed to do that. And we've been able to see, hey, that's in line with where we need to go. And that's when we actually started to become profitable and funding the seasons a lot faster, the episodes a lot faster is through that. And so we're going to look at all the data, see what's going to be the best. Our main goal is there's something beautiful about how this series got started. It brought 19,000 people together, getting behind it. To be able to create it, but it's also beautiful how it's funded as well. Will that actually increase, how fast it can be funded? Absolutely, as we have more people from it, and I think we'll start seeing bigger contributions to the Pay It Forward and to our merch and so on to really help take us where we need to be, catapult us where we need to be.
Okay. One question I had watching the episode, given that this episode was basically shot in secret, how did you keep it secret? because there are crowd scenes, there are extras walking by on the road and all that stuff. Like,
a lot of coercing and NDAs. Let's just put it that way. No, the people that came on set, they're really excited to be a part of it, and there's something special, especially when you let them know that, hey, we're trying to keep this a secret. We're trying to let people know on timing, and they're great. The extras are great. The actors are great. The crew is especially great. And so it was quite the feat to pull it off. And, it pretty much says that, to the character of the people that are a part of the show, they wanted to make it special for everybody else. And they were willing to kind of bite their tongue until that right moment that they could talk about it.
Right. How long ago did you shoot it? How long did they have to bite their tongues?
Yeah, this was a pretty fast turnaround. So it started production in the last week of September and went through the first week of October. And so it was a really, really fast turnaround for production. And then Dallas has just been really hammering through post as fast as he could. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter, you got time for one more.
One more. Okay. And then with season 3, now I'm just curious about the timeline on this. The first 2 seasons both basically were shown or released, I should say. Like the first part of season 1 was released, I think, around Easter time a couple of years ago. And season 2, of course, launched around Easter this year. Now you haven't started shooting season 3 yet. So do you envision sticking to like an Easter release date kind of thing? Because that would mean waiting a year and a half to see the next season. Or would you show it, like release it at a different time, like Christmas or something?
Yeah. So the plan is being consistent as much as we can in the future, trying to create as much content as we can and package it in a certain way. Dallas has mentioned on a live stream, and we have at different times that we will be in production somewhere in Q1, and then also release will be in 2022. So we'll leave it at that. If it's summer, if it's fall, if it's winter, that's when it is. But we'll actually be releasing in 2022.
So basically probably by this time next year.
There's a high probability. Yeah.
High probability. Okay, great.
Yep.
Awesome.
Could I leave a comment? So first off, big fan of your website. Love it to death. I consume it a lot. I really do appreciate your coverage and so on and so forth. One of the things that I would like to say, just being an active reader of the website, is this project is The Chosen, and also the Christmas special is really bringing different faith backgrounds together to agree upon certain things, which is pretty much the gospel of Jesus Christ, his birth. We're all celebrating it together. One of the most beautiful things is to see is different people's faith backgrounds performing, and our communities are coming together. I do believe that we live in a time that the people that do follow Jesus Christ need to stand together, and they need to combat the evils of the world. We're seeing it right now. The world is getting very wicked, and we need to stop infighting and really focus in on the things that are important, which is faith, family, and freedom. And I do believe that, there's powers that be are trying to stop light to get into the world. And, we need to be those beacons of light, and, really support and protect the things that are truly wholesome and of good rapport, that really can bring the world to a better place.
Okay. Well, I will say I really appreciate the broadness of Dallas's approach, like the way he has those roundtables with different consultants from different perspectives. And I mean, I'm neither evangelical nor Catholic. I'm actually Eastern Orthodox, and Dallas and I have had discussions about that. And I think a lot of what he's doing with the show is really interesting in terms of its the way it pushes some expectations while also being very inclusive and very open to the multiple perspectives. So I have really appreciated that aspect of the show.
Well, thanks, Peter. And we're trying really to portray an authentic Jesus out to 1 billion people. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, of really them see the human side of who Jesus is, and some plausible interactions that they could have. And hopefully people can view him as approachable and see him in a different light than they have been in the past. So,
right.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. And by the way, I don't think I've ever actually spoken to Dallas face to face. It's always been over the phone or
he's a hard one to get on camera when he's not on camera, let me tell you.
Okay.
Especially for these type of interviews.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, good talking to you.
All right, Peter. Thank you.